Everybody, how's it going? This is asieloshunyeyeo bringing you another video. And in this video, this is an interview that I am doing to my godson, Babatyung, who is joining us in the YouTube channel today. And behind us, we have his trono, because he just turned 4 years old in the religion that he has had Obatala crowned. So I just want to welcome him to the YouTube channel show.
Thank you for having me.
The Orishas YouTube channel show. So please, Babatyung, tell us a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself to the public.
Okay, so of course I've been crowned for 4 years. I've known about the religion. I also go by Rick. Babatyung is my Ocha name. I've been in the religion since I was about 18 years old. And then, as time went on, I learned more and more about the religion, had to meet different people, and then of course I ended up coming into path with you, which you then allowed me to partake of your elect, and then be crowned by you. Currently live in Arizona, the Phoenix area, and I've been here for about almost 4 years now, working as much as possible, and just taking it day by day.
Mm-hmm. So tell us, what do you focus on at this moment? What are you focusing on religiously at this moment?
Religiously, I'm focusing on learning. Of course, it's always a constant learning. That's one of the things that I like about the religion. It's always something new to learn. Learning, the songs for Osign, still perfecting my technique in reference to beadwork. Focusing on doing a lot of beadwork, focusing on growing my network in reference to the particular area because of where we live. Making myself available for people more often to try to help them with any problems that they may have, any questions that they might have, and just pretty much go from there.
Mm-hmm. So what would you say is your favorite thing about the religion so far in your experience?
I would have to say my favorite part is Osign, where we're in there working with the medicinal herbs that we use. I feel like it's a very intimate process because you're putting your acha into it and you're basically bringing in something new into our religious world. I think that's the most.
What you enjoy the most? So like the songs,
the singing, everything that we do in there. I find it very, very beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. And what would you consider to be your least favorite thing when it comes to practicing the religion?
My least favorite thing, I know it's a needed thing because of course everything has to eat, but it's in reference to our sacrifices. I am an animal lover, I've always been, but again, looking at that aspect of it, I understand that, as same thing as if I was to eat some chicken, the Orisha has to eat some chicken. My hardest time, I know, has always been getting used to the fact of doing the animal sacrifice of it, but seeing even in that the beauty of it, where something is being given to the Orisha, so the Orisha can then in turn give to us. So it's one of my least favorite things, but it's a necessary thing.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest things for many people is to deal with the sacrifice aspect until they understand it more and they see it, and then they become more aware of why it's done and how it's done and what happens afterwards with it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, usually whenever there's a ceremony, usually the animals are cooked and they're fed to other people, so it's more of a community thing. So in that aspect, you don't really see any animal go to waste in that aspect, so it kind of does make you understand a little bit more why things are being done, how they're being done.
All right, so what would you tell me, which out of all the Orishas that you have so far and the ones that you're aware of, which one would you say is your most favorite? Without offending anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Without being offensive.
Without being offensive, who will be your favorite?
I mean, I love Elewa, but for me, it's Chango. Chango, the Orisha, the Orisha thunder, of lightning, of passion, of virility. To me, he kind of encourages me to kind of go out there and live life, experience everything within reason, within Yorita. I think to me, he has done a lot in this little time that I've been crowned. Anything that I've done with him, he usually is on top of it. Even if I don't even ask him for anything, he'll usually step up and be like, hey, I can help you. So that for me, he's just always been, my main man in that aspect.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Have you ever had any particular experience or dream or anything involving Chango that maybe you might want to talk about?
Yes, definitely. I was going through an interview process, and prior to that, of course, I did Opitu Elegua to see what I needed to do, and Elegua told me certain bosses like tend to do things with my egun, do things with Orisha Oko, which is of course the agriculture and harvest and things of that nature. Did that. I got my phone interviews, went really well. They wanted to do a face-to-face interview, and before I got the face-to-face interview, I had like this overwhelming sense that Chango was just trying to make himself known. Like I would see like, an offering in front of him mentally. So I was like, oh, let me just ask him. So I did, pulled out Obi, I did Obi to him. I asked him if it was, in fact that he's trying to tell me something. And basically he was saying, I want to step in to help you secure this job. Because I think for that particular position or for that particular interview, I needed, more confidence. I needed a boost, and that's what he was trying to give me. So I went ahead and I cooked them, amala. Didn't come out as pretty as I would have liked, but it's the act of, it's the intent of, that the Orishas sees. It's not, how beautiful it is. And honestly, I can say I did the ball the day before my interview. The day after my interview, I was already getting called back from the employer. They're like, we really want you. We just have to go over a couple more things, and he made it happen. So I was just more amazed by him by that.
Actually, Bo is definitely very powerful, and Chango is a very interesting ocha that we all obviously like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So, how does your family feel about what you practice? Are you the only one in your family? How does your family feel?
Well, currently I'm the only one that's ordained. There are others who are taking their steps into it. There are others that need to take the step into it, but there is hesitation. And I believe the hesitation is more of what, an incorrect stigma that the religion has had over the years, where it's painted in a different light, which is why it's very important for us to be able to discuss the beauty in the religion and what the actual religion is about. There was situations with a particular family member where they were upset that I took this step into it because they felt that I was choosing religion over family. Since then, things have gotten better. They're more understanding, but they're still a little hesitant about it.
Okay, well, I mean, that happens. That happens with some people, and all you can do is be a role model and teach them. And obviously, people that are watching, there's a lot of people that go through the same scenarios that they want to practice their religion, but their family practices something else, or they were born or raised with something else, and then they find that a little hard sometimes.
It's a hard balance. It can be a hard balance. With that, the thing I would tell people is, if this is a calling, if you feel it calling to you, just do it. Your family is there, but excuse me. Eventually, they'll come around, and if they just can't accept it, then that's between them and their God, their Orisha, whatever. You just have to do what's best for you ultimately.
What's that called? What is that person called that comes and takes care of our coffee for us famous people over here?
I was trying to remember. What is that?
Assistants!
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, so either way, so back to our actual chat. So, Funfun, tell us really quick, about your Orisha. Tell us a little bit about who you're crowned to and your mother and Ocha and things like that.
So, I am crowned to Obatala, the father or king of all the Orishas. I like to see him, or I like to think of him as the mediator between any warring Orishas or any warring situations where he just kind of steps in and tries to help placate the situation.
Mm-hmm.
He's the father of the white cloth. He is in charge of everything that's white, the bones, the brain. He's the one that molds our heads, and molds us also in the womb of our mothers before we come into this earth. He has done a lot for me in a very short period, and I'm always very grateful to him for that. My mother in Ocha is Jewa, the beautiful Jewa. Jewa is a mysterious Orisha. She is one where some will say that she resides in the cemetery for many different reasons. There's different patakis or stories that refer to that. One of them is basically she broke her vow of chastity and celibacy. So because of that, because she broke that vow, she felt very, very ashamed that she had betrayed her father's trust, and she disappeared from the world. She is very, she's one that I love her very much. She has done a lot for me as well. But I treat her with the respect she deserves. I come to her and I try to honor and venerate her as much as possible to show her that I'm basically a willing and loyal son.
So yes, he happens to have two very interesting parents because of his path of Obatala. It's a very strange Obatala, or very secluded Obatala, and then his mother is also very secluded and very, she has a lot of taboos and a lot of things, and it's a beautiful Locha, but it has to be respected. She has to be very heavily respected with her taboos and everything about her. You have to be very cautious with her in particular. And then his Obatala path happens to also be a little.
Yeah, so it's like walking on eggshells in my home. But in a sense, so my Obatala is somewhat secluded. She's secluded. It kind of matches my personality in a sense. I'm one that I do, and I don't know if this is just a child of Obatala thing, but we like our solitude at times when it's needed. So it's kind of where we end up just recollecting ourselves and we gain our strength. And then we thrive on that. And then we're like, okay, I'm ready to go into the world. And then when it gets a little bit too much, we withdraw again just to recollect ourselves and kind of go from there. So I think it's kind of fitting that I have them as parents.
Definitely, no, definitely. All right, so Fum Fum, tell me. Oh, we call him Fum Fum, by the way. Fum Fum means white. Well, this the whole story. Okay, so we call him Fum Fum because when he got crowned, there was another godchild of mine that also got crowned like a month apart, and he was a child of it. He's a child of Obatala, and the other person has Oya crown. So in order to differentiate them, we would say Yawo Fum Fum and Yawo Pupua, and then he came out of Yaworahe and Fum Fum just stuck, and we all call him Fum Fum either way. So Fum Fum, tell us. What would be an advice that you would give or recommend to people out there watching the video that want to come into the religion, or just for Olochas also an advice to the community, people that are coming in and people that are already in it?
People coming in, I would say don't be afraid to ask questions. Sometimes from my own personal experience, sometimes you're just ignorant of what's really out there. It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to be like, oh, who are your elders? Where are your elders from? Things of that nature. And and don't be afraid to ask it, because those are questions that are going to help you validate the person. If people kind of give you pushback on that, that might be a little bit of a red flag. When it comes to Olochas, I would say to always keep an open mind. Always be willing to teach, because oftentimes you have people who are seeking Orisha and they come to Olochas, and sometimes Olochas just may either disregard them or not have the respect for that particular person. Where me, I'm a person where I earn my respect, so I give my respect to the other person, and so they can return it to me. At the same time, just because I'm crowned, and that person's not crowned, doesn't mean that there's not an Orisha that walks with them. And I always try to be very mindful of that, where I'm like, this person has an Orisha that walks with them, and I have to treat them with the respect that they deserve. Because ultimately, that could be an Orisha that gives me the world, and I'm actually insulting one of their children, and thus insulting the Orisha.
I agree. There has to be, the people that are coming in have to feel comfortable asking questions to the elders, and there has to be humility from the elder to answer the same question 5 times if need be, because different people learn at different rates or scenarios and under different circumstances and things like that. So just before we close off, so it's been 4 years since you've been crowned. Obviously you went into your crowning with your primary pillar Orishas for Batala, etc. Can you tell us last Orishas that I have given to you that you have received, and what other Orishas you expect to have in the next 4 years?
So I of course have received, after Ocha I received Orisha Oko, I received Asina, which is the mother of Inle. Orisha Oko, I think I mentioned earlier, was the Orisha of agriculture and things of that nature, the farm. I have received, I have to look. Okay, so I do have Bromu, Brosiao, Chakwalibo. And I also received Ideu. I also received the Deities, Yaku Yaku, I also happen to receive. And of course, I received Ochosi.
With four legs, and you got a room with four legs.
So, and that's just, I got the Deities, I got who else? Oh, of course, well, no, she came with me. And a few more Eleguasas along the way, which it never hurts to have more than one, I think. Who else?
And in the next 4 years.
The next 4 years.
In 4 more years, what do you want to have?
A lot more. So I mean, currently, like we are focusing on a particular Orishas that I'm looking to receive, like Ayu, Asohano, Afra, Ainao, Sia, Anigai. Agida, excuse me. That's an Orisha I would like to receive. And you know, any Orisha that kind of piques my interest as soon as I learn about it, because usually when you and I have our discussions and stuff like that, you know, we start talking Orisha and we start mentioning, and I'm like, oh, which one's that one? Which one's that one? You know, start doing my own little research, and I'm like, I want to get that one. So, like I said, always open-minded about what energy or Orisha comes into my life.
Ache. All right, so I think we're good. So, Babatyung, thank you.
Thank you.
For allowing me, obviously, to come into your home, building your 4th year trono.
Which is amazing, by the way.
Babatyung is my second crowned godchild. He is an amazing godchild. I'm very proud of him. He lives here in Arizona. Anybody who lives in Arizona who watches my videos and stuff, if you need to have a reading, if you need to do a bow, if you need to receive ocha, if you want to come into our house, this is the Arizona Charter, is that what it's called? The Arizona Charter. Yes, we have Babatyung, and then we have the Yawo, who is crowned to Ochosi, who is my fourth crown, who also lives here. They live in the same house at this particular moment. They're roommates, and both of them can be contacted. I'm going to put their information in the bottom of the video and on the descriptions for everybody who lives in Arizona that you may need something. Obviously, you guys know that you can contact me directly through Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or whatever social media things that I may have. And or you can contact one of my godchildren if you need to get a hold of me. But specifically for the people in Arizona, Babatyung is over here. He can help you guys out, and then obviously through him you can link up with me also. And once again, thank you, my love. It's been a pleasure interviewing you, sitting down with you. Thank you, and thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you, guys. I will see you in one of the next videos. Thank you so much. Ache to.